Hi, this is Cami. Welcome back to my luxury channel where I don't edit. I don't have the greatest lighting. Like today, my thumbnails are not so hot. And if you're okay with not fancy videos, this is the channel to be following. I basically just wanted to say that because if you're new to my channel, that's what I say every time I start my video. But today's video is just a little different. I just wanted to come on here and let everybody know that Thursday, Thanksgiving, at 2:30 in the morning into Friday, we had to put our sweet little Coco down. If you've been following my channel for years, you know that our sweet little Coco became sick almost 4 years ago with diabetes. It got so severe with her eye infections that we had to have her eyes removed. Um, so we did that almost 4 years ago, maybe 3.5 years ago. Um, it's been an incredible struggle taking care of her because she's not the greatest patient. It took months before she let us get that insulin needle injection into her, which had to be done twice a day. She was not a dog that walked outside. She was on a wee-wee pad, and because of the diabetes, she was peeing every hour almost all day long. We couldn't get the diabetes under control because she also developed Cushing's. If anybody out there knows what Cushing's is, it makes diabetes very difficult to control. She also had a collapsed trachea. We had her for 10 years. We rescued her, and we don't know exactly how old she was, but somewhere between 13 and 15. She was on 4 different medications. The last month, she wasn't eating a lot. She needed to be hand fed for almost the last 6 months just because she didn't want to eat. And the only way she would eat is if my husband would sit on the floor with her and feed her. And sometimes that would take 2 hours. And then she would be up most of the night because she would have to get up to pee, or she would be coughing because of her collapsed trachea. She was on trazodone for anxiety because whenever my husband left the house, she didn't stop howling and crying. And that was the way she always was, even before she got sick. But she tolerated it. But once she got really sick and went blind and had no eyes, she couldn't handle my husband being out of the house for 5 minutes. She didn't sleep. So my husband, because I work full time and he has been retired for 17 years, he slept downstairs in our office on a mattress on the floor because he had to get up with her every 2, 3 hours. He hasn't had 3 hours consecutive sleep for almost 4 years because she would get up and have to pee, and you had to follow her because she would step in it because she couldn't see, and then she would drag it all over, whether it be pee or poop. She would drag it all over the house. You had to be there every time she went to the bathroom so you could wipe her paws, make sure she wasn't stepping in it. He had to get her to eat in order to get the insulin. So, like, this was a constant battle with her. She would not take medication. It did not matter if it was in a piece of bacon. It got to the point over the last 6 months or so that she would spit the pill out. No matter what you gave her to eat, she'd spit the pill out. We had to give her 3 pills. She was on, I think, Vetrol for the Cushing's, Aquapel or something for allergy, the insulin for the diabetes, hydrocodone, which is like Oxycontin, for the collapsed trachea, which would make her sleep a little bit more, but we would have to give her gabapentin with the oxycodone. She wouldn't take the medicine, so my husband would have to break open his own capsule for the Memprazole. What is it called? I forgot the gastro reflux medication. He would open the capsule, empty it, put the gabapentin and the oxy in it so she wouldn't smell it, and it would be two medications, and have to try and give it to her in like a scoop of ice cream or a piece of bacon or anything that she would take. And most of the time she didn't. It would take him an hour of chasing her around to try to get the pill in. The last week or so, she was not eating. She was not eating at all. She was really sniffing whatever we would try and give her and leave, and we'd have to try again a half hour later. We couldn't leave the house for more than 2, 3 hours. My husband hasn't been away from the house for more than 2, 3 hours in 4 years. We haven't gone away. We haven't gone anywhere overnight. We go to somebody's house for Thanksgiving. We drove all the way to Jersey to my sister-in-law. We drove more than we were there because it took almost 2 hours to get there. We stayed for 2 hours. We came home. We brought her a full meal, turkey, vegetables, potatoes, stuffing. She didn't want any of it Thanksgiving this past Thursday. And then she just got so excited when we walked in the door, jumped all over us, and then she just laid down in her bed and she didn't want to get up. She didn't eat. It was already going on almost 2 days with no insulin. We were checking her sugar in the urine 3, 4 times a day to make sure she wasn't getting ketones, because that she goes into ketoacidosis. So that was every day, checking her urine 3, 4 times a day to make sure she wasn't going into ketoacidosis. She had a seizure, a grand mal seizure 3 weeks ago for the first time because her sugar dropped to 41. We didn't know. Sometimes her sugar would be 700. It was a roller coaster, and it was extremely difficult to monitor because we couldn't use the glucometer to prick her because she wouldn't let us go near her with that. We couldn't get near her paws, which is the best way to take it. We couldn't get in the ear because she would become like a lunatic, and we didn't want to hurt her, and because she was so weak and she had arthritis, and it was 3:30 in the morning into Black Friday. We were sitting in the hospital with her, and we were just crying and saying we couldn't do it anymore. We couldn't keep her alive anymore, and it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to her. It wasn't fair to us. She was my husband's best friend because he was home with her when I was working, and she was so attached to him, and that was his little girl. That was his little girl. People could not understand how this man wouldn't go out with friends, wouldn't go away, wouldn't go to Atlantic City, wouldn't do anything because he went into the hospital over a month ago for diverticulitis. He checked himself out a day earlier than he should have. He had a perforation, and the surgeon said, "You really need to stay." And he's like, "I have to get home to my dog or she's going to die." She didn't eat for 2 days. I had to take her to the hospital with my son while my husband was in the hospital to get her hydrated, check her sugar, and get her trazodone so she would sleep because I hadn't slept for almost 20 hours. This was an ongoing thing with her. It was ongoing. It was every day. It was every week. She was just living, but she was still affectionate, and she would still roll on her back and want her belly rubbed, and she would still give kisses, and that's why we could not let her go. We could not let her go. We couldn't let her go. No matter how many people said, it's time. You can't do this. You can't live from hour to hour force feeding her and making her drink out of a spoon if she wouldn't drink enough water, and giving her food 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. My husband would be up all night just trying to get her to eat so he can give her the insulin. And then she would eat a little bit and he'd be able to give her the insulin and he'd be okay with the food for the next 12 hours. It was just, and we feel so guilty. If you've done this, if you've had to put a dog down, if you've had to put your fur baby down, it is so heart-wrenching to make that decision. Every day I begged God to take her peacefully in her sleep. Don't make us make that decision. Please take her. Guess not. I guess not. So I had a video up on Saturday. I unboxed the Chanel bag, which I did send back because it had, if you saw it in person, you would see that it had a fair amount of corner wear and the edge wear, and the caviar was rubbed out. And I just didn't, for the money I spent on it, I wasn't going to keep it. I had that video up Saturday. It was before, I just left it up. I filmed it a while back, like 2 weeks ago. I might not get back to everybody right away, and you all know that I do. I get back to everybody, I answer everybody. I might not do that. I'm just exhausted. Um, we were not sleeping. My husband was not sleeping for years. And since Thursday, we haven't slept because we can't stop crying. Yeah, so I just wanted to tell everybody this. If you don't get a response from me right away, this is why. And I know so many of you have seen videos with Coco in them deliberately, with Coco not in them deliberately, sitting on the couch over there howling because my husband wasn't home, walking under the table, peeing and pooping while I was shooting the video. Um, she's going to be so missed, so missed. I had another mini poodle for almost 16 years, and she's been gone 10 years. Oh, no, 13 years. We waited 3 years before we rescued Coco, and I miss her. And I think about her, and I had two cats growing up, and I think about them, and it just gets easier, I guess, hopefully. But right now, it's not easy. So um, I have things coming, and I'll get to them in a couple of weeks, maybe film and put them up. But if I don't speak to you before the holidays, have a happy and healthy New Year. Have a wonderful holiday, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Thank you. Thank you for watching.